Elon Musk is attempting a hostile takeover of Twitter. What does that mean for the stock? What the expectations are going forward, what you can expect, and all of my technical analysis and chart analysis using my 30 years of trading experience. But first, make sure you pound that like button and subscribe to this channel so you can be notified of all of my future videos and live streams that I do on a regular basis. Now, when news broke of Elon Musk trying to buy Twitter this morning before the market opened, it was trading 20% higher. How does a stock go from being up 20% on a buyout, go from being 20% up to being 1.7% down on the day? That just shows you how broke this company is. And it also shows you too that they're not serious about accepting his bid to take over the company. In fact, Elon Musk at an event today, he was mentioning that he doesn't even know exactly how he's going to pay for it or how the financing is going to look. And that if they reject his offer, he has a plan B. And as of today's filings, Elon Musk is not even the largest shareholder in Twitter anymore. That would belong to Vanguard, who upped their stake to 10.4%. The one thing the mainstream media doesn't want, the one thing that social elites don't want, and politicians, is for Elon Musk to acquire this company because they have this like de facto control of the company. And by him getting control of the company allows for free speech to open back up for Twitter, and they're not going to have that. So what can we expect going forward? For one, Elon likes to do one thing, but he's also doing something behind the scenes. So it wouldn't be surprising to me right now that he's not accumulating as many shares as possible, especially as there was heavy selling today, if he wasn't trying to gobble up every share that he could get his hands on. Two, there's rumors of a poison pill. That would essentially be where the Twitter board allow everybody that's a current shareholder, except for Elon, to buy shares of the company, but it would also dilute their current shares in the process. Yes, they would be able to keep their same stake if they're willing to buy more, but those existing shares that they already have will be getting diluted. So they're screwing over the shareholders right there if they do the poison pill, which if I was a shareholder and they're already floating that rumor around or even considering it, adios, man. I don't want nothing to do with that company. And if Elon Musk can't acquire the company, it becomes apparent that he has no chance of it. The biggest screw you that he could do to Twitter would be to just dump all his shares on the open market. Just go ahead and market order the crap out of them. Yes, it'll crash the stock in the process, but can't tell me that Elon hasn't actually thought about that in his plan B, C, D, E, or F. And while it's probably not the most likely thing to happen, it's not out of the realm of the possibility of it happening. Another possibility that I do think that would be likely to happen is that another buyer emerges. That could be somebody that's tied to the hips of Silicon Valley. That's where you might see Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook, or Jeff Bezos, or Tim Apple, and maybe all three of them enter some kind of agreement and do it together, or one of their respective companies do it. If that were to happen, that would be the best case scenario for Twitter because now you have a bidding war going on. And once they make a bid, then it comes back to Elon to make his bid, if they even give him another chance to counter offer it. But if you're acting in the best interest of your shareholders, you almost have to let Elon make another bid to acquire the company if he's willing. So that makes 54.20 essentially the floor on what Twitter might be worth in acquiring. But one thing that you can expect is I don't think the saga on this is done and over with. I don't think Elon is going anywhere anytime soon, and I think you can expect a lot more drama to unfold as this saga continues. But it wouldn't be a video if I didn't go into the technical analysis, so let's take a look at that right now. Crazy month so far in the month of April for Twitter. Here's the news of Elon Musk buying the stock up. It goes from the 39s all the way as high as 55, 57. But since then, it's been on the slow, steady decline. Now, if you go back to my earlier video when I talked about Elon Musk acquiring a 9.2% stake in the company, I mentioned to you, don't go chasing this stock just because he's getting into it. There's going to be a lot of people that do and a lot of people that are going to get burned. And since then, it's dropped from 55 all the way back down to 45. And even today's buyout possibility did nothing to send the stock back up. So what are we dealing with now? The lows from Wednesday is going to be a key point for this stock because right here is a major support level because if it breaks again, you have a strong potential of this gap getting filled from the initial announcement. This gap is a significant level. And more times than not, when you have a significant gap in the chart, the tendency for a stock is to fill that gap over time. So if it breaks the Wednesday lows, which is where it was already starting to fill that gap, you're going to resume that gap fill, which likely sends the stock back down to $39, $40 a share. And if the board outright rejects the offer, it probably won't have any problem at all getting to that level. Now, to the upside, I don't think that there is much room for improvement beyond this declining trend line here that goes all the way back to the February 2021 highs. This trend line has acted as an area to reject price time and time again. So even if it does manage to rally here, I think you're going to see significant resistance at this $58 level. And even if they accept Elon's bid, it's not going beyond 54.20. But without that happening, and without them accepting Elon's offer, I don't see this doing anything but trading lower, especially in the climate that we're in with the stock market. And ultimately, I do think that that gap does get filled. So the takeaway in all this, there's a lot of headline risk to deal with here. You have Elon Musk, you have a very difficult economy, and you have the potential for a poison pill, which would dilute everybody's shares right away. For me, that's a lot of headline risk. Yes, there's the potential that it could get taken over. Maybe it's not even from Elon. Maybe it's from somebody else in Silicon Valley. But nonetheless, there's a lot of headline risk there. So do I short the stock here? Absolutely not. I don't want anything to do with this from the long side or the short side. Too much risk from the short side, too much risk from the long side. At this point, the stock is way too high if a buyout does not happen. And I'm not saying that it won't, but I'm just saying if it doesn't, there's a lot of downside risk. And a lot of people who missed out on the big Tesla run will see Twitter as their next opportunity to jump on the Elon bandwagon. Don't just buy blindly into the Elon hype. Elon does what he wants to do. And it's kind of like professional athletes. If they lose a football game, they go home and they enjoy their $1 million life. Elon loses at the Twitter war. He goes home and enjoys his billionaire life. I think the guy's amazing. I think he's great, but simply buying because you want to get into the hype and hope that this guy is going to turn around Twitter and you're going to be benefiting from it may simply just be a pipe dream. He's facing a lot of headwinds here. A lot of people who don't want to sell it to him. Maybe he pulls it off, but at the end, if he doesn't, it's going to be at the expense of your capital. And let me know down in the comments, what are your thoughts on this Twitter saga that's ongoing? Do you think that Elon's going to be able to pull it off and acquire the company? Why or why not? I want to debate you guys in the comments. Thank you guys, and God bless.